Hey everybody, welcome to Easy Tarot Lessons. This is Sharon and I'm here with Mandy and Matt. Welcome.
Woo!
Hello.
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 This is real exciting. Matt and Mandy are going to be reading at the Strawberry Fair tomorrow in Cambridge. Y'all tell me about that.
I know. Well, it's very exciting to actually do this podcast, Sharon, and have Matt sitting here with
Oh my
me, like
God,
6 inches away from
Yeah.
me in real life. Right? Yeah.
that
So
is cool.
I'd like to make that point that some of us actually really do meet each other from the course, which is like so lovely.
Yeah.
So basically, people may or may not know that last year I did the Strawberry Fair event in Cambridge on my own, which was like I didn't know what had hit me. I mean, it was one of the most marvelous experiences of my life, but my God, it is not designed for a person to do on their own. I survived to tell the tale, right? Obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's a great big music festival. People come from all over to attend it, and it attracts 30 to 35,000 people
Wow.
in one day. And it runs literally from the morning right through till let's say I left there just after midnight. I mean, I was still reading at like 11:30 at night.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and I had constant queues. Once they started, they did not stop. It was just continuous. As one person walked out, another person walked in, and I just went with it. And oh my God, at the end, I just thought I don't know what's just happened to me.
Shell shock. Are you
Yeah.
happy to be having Matt with you this year?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was amazing. In many ways, it was absolutely fantastic, but daunting thought to do that again on your own. No, it's got to be a two-person event, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm
What?
excited to have Matt there as well tomorrow. So
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm all excited and slightly apprehensive. All the emotions at the same time.
I was gonna ask, are you scared or excited or both?
Everything. Absolutely everything. Like this week has been an intense preparation for it, I'd say. Like making sure I'm just on point with all the cards, so going through exercise 1 and 1A out of the white book over and over again, as well as like I think I'm going to rely on the no spread reading technique from the black book quite a lot, so I can remain nimble and flexible and on my toes,
Yeah.
depending on the type of question. I've got some set spreads down, which me and Mandy have discussed, and some things which I can pull out the bag. But yeah, just intuitively, I think the no spread reading technique is going to come into its own tomorrow.
yeah,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
the object of the exercises, they are going to have to be fast readings, simply because it's not fair on the queue, you know. So because people are not coming to the event to have tarot readings; they're coming to the event for the music, and they see us there, and it's like, oh, perhaps I'll have a tarot reading. And if they're still in a queue 2 hours later, it's like being on a ride at Disney World, isn't it? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are going to have to stick to. We've
Yeah.
said 15-minute readings, so it's still reasonable. They'll still get a proper reading, but they will be mini readings. We won't go delving too deep into them. So yeah,
Ooh, speed readings. Oh, but it's going to be so exciting and it'll flow. And I bet you money, even with the quicker readings, you'll still have a full queue from the time it opens till the time it closes.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. And last year, I kind of arrived on the Saturday to set it up, and they put me in the children's section. So honestly, I was surrounded by kind of like children's clothing and like messy play and all that sort of thing. And I was a little bit disappointed to begin with, but then I realised there was no need to be disappointed because it was still really, really busy. But this year, I've gone and set up the marquee today, like a day early, so that I could be sure of being in the adult section. So I'm expecting it to be even busier, to be honest.
No kidding. That's just a really odd place for them to stick a tarot reader.
I just think they were very limited on available spaces by the time I got there on the Saturday, to be honest.
Right.
I think the people that want their pick of the pitches turn up on even the Thursday. I turned up at 8 o'clock this morning, and there were marquees everywhere. You know,
Wow.
so even today, but I did get in the grown up area. Yeah.
Just makes me think of Thanksgiving dinner and having to sit at the kids' table. Now, I am so excited to have Matt here with us today. It will be so cool to see a male point of view.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
today, you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. We are going to do the King of Cups. So, do you think it would be fair to ask Matt to jump right in, or should you go ahead and start us off?
I don't mind jumping right in.
Oh, I
There
didn't
you
even
go.
speak. Yeah, he was there.
Well,
Yeah.
tell us your take on the King of Cups.
Well, I was just looking at the card actually, and something just popped out, which I hadn't seen before. So even though I've been reading for ages, you always see new things. But I was looking at it, and if you look at the card from his perspective, on the left-hand side behind him, you've got a boat, and on the right-hand side, you've got this fish. And if you think of like the left and right-hand sides of your brain, like the left being kind of ordered and structured, and the right being creative, it's almost like this dude in his head has got the ability to use his emotions in a constructive way to get stuff done, i.e., build boats and go sailing.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, that just jumped out. And we were talking earlier about what is he holding in his right hand, that like pole thing.
That's his left hand.
Left hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
It's one of them sprinklers, I think, that they use for holy water, you know? The Catholics, they like punch it at you. It's got a name here. Let me look it up.
That's like we were joking that it looked a little bit like a toilet plunger, which was kind of cool. But then again, like metaphorically speaking, maybe like if you have a complete mess of a situation with just mess everywhere, this is the guy you'd want to go in and mop it up and clean it up, because he can, you know, unplug the drains and balance everybody emotionally and bring everybody onto the same page.
I love that.
I do.
That is called, if this is what it is, this is conjecture. It looks like one of those holy water scepters. It is called, and I do not know if I'm pronouncing this right, an aspergillum.
Oh my God. Never heard of that before.
And Catholic priests just kind of like, bloop, just shake it at you and the holy water flies out. They used one in The Exorcist.
Oh, okay.
So he could be an exorcist.
Yeah.
Cool.
One of the readings that I had gotten, actually, it was after my husband's first heart attack, and I was a hot mess, and I couldn't read for myself to see if everything was okay. Y'all know that, right? I was just too emotionally involved. And Marie, you both know Marie from the school.
Yeah.
She did a reading for me, and he was the outcome, and she started giggling, and she said, "That's Paul in his truck, driving his truck. There's the gear shift in his hand, and his cup of coffee in the other." It was so funny, and she was right. He was back in his truck in no time. So it's nothing to do with the traditional meaning, but she nailed it because she looked at the card.
Nice.
Yeah. I used to really struggle at first with court cards as outcome cards, because they're not all that descriptive. But the way I started to look at it is, if I got a court card as an outcome card, I would ask the question like, what would this person do and how would he resolve it, and that would be the outcome.
You want to give an example?
So let's say there was doggy.
Oh, my dog saying hello.
So let's say there was a relationship issue between a couple, for instance. Whereas, like, the king of coins would say that the way to fix this relationship would be to focus on the practical aspects of it and make sure you have enough time for each other. This guy would fix it by making sure each party is emotionally fulfilled by each other. So making sure that each party in the relationship gets emotional fulfillment out of each other. Whereas the King of Swords, for instance, may be like, I would fix this by sitting down and logically reasoning through the situation and clearing the air completely. So it's almost like I like to ask the question, how would he resolve it, or what would he do to sort the situation out, and that then follows is the outcome.
But I like that. I like the way you did that. Have you ever looked at it as what would it be as an event?
Yeah, well, I think that what would if this person had free reign and a magic wand to sort out a situation, and he flicked his magic wand and it was resolved, that resolution is almost like the event. So the event is shaped by and molded by the energies and the priorities of the King of Cups.
Nice. Mandy, what do you think about him?
Well, obviously, like in the upright position, I kind of like see it's very, very kind of like emotionally stable. I just feel that everything is kind of like flowing as it should. I just feel that that if it was an event, I just think it's going exactly how it should be going. It's just that everybody is going with the flow. I think it's been properly organized from the top, the event, and therefore that's kind of like, run its way through to the entire event with everybody there buying into that sort of positive energy.
Yeah, one of the things I like to do with the court cards, and I used to do quite a lot actually, is pick out some of the more not tricky but difficult, not difficult, like the 10 of Swords, for instance, and say and put the 10 of Swords next to the King of Cups and be like, if the King of Cups had some advice for somebody in this situation, how would he put it across and what would he say? And then compare that to the other court cards as well. So, with the 10 of Swords, he'd be trying to console the person and make them realize that everything will be okay in the end. Whereas, the King of Pentacles, King of Coins, would be talking all about, well, everything's happened. Let's now look to the future. What plans can we put in place? Whereas the King of Cups would be like, no, let's talk emotionally through this to make sure that you feel happier with where you're going to be in life. And I find doing that with like different cards, so it's almost like the hero and sidekick exercise
Yeah.
from the Black Book, but it's kind of like, how would the King of Cups explain and console and reconcile the situations depicted in some other cards?
I'm going to use that as an exercise, Matt, because those court cards, these court cards are the hardest for all of the new students, it seems. It's like they can wrap their heads around the major arcana, but when they get to court cards, everybody's just so we always are looking for new games to make these court cards more talkative, and that right there was an absolutely beautiful game to play with them. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, put the Wheel of Fortune by the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles, and be like, how, if they were going to have a conversation about this, what would each other's point of view be? It's nice.
Yeah.
I think you have to always remember that he is a king. Like, as well as the fact that he's cups and emotions and things flowing and kind of like, being happy and just feeling right about the situation and feeling good. I do think he is a king. So it's kind of, to me, when he does come up in a reading and he's upright, it's kind of saying this is about as good as it's going to get. Do you know what I mean? He's up there. It's kind of, it's really good, you know, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about reversed?
Oh,
To me, this is like when I see him reversed, I know we don't use keywords, but I immediately get this sensation of like fire hose. Just, just like unrelenting, unfocused, unthought about, just complete like explosion of just destructive watery energy that can that can literally like put out somebody's fire.
Yeah.
Can really take the put the
Yeah.
dampener on things and drag people down.
Yeah, drowning.
Yeah, drowning.
Yeah. Yeah, because upright, all that stuff is going on around him. Those waves are high.
Yeah,
And he's just sitting right solid on that platform. You turn him
absolutely.
upside
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Oh, and for some reason, when I see him in reverse, I see, um, I had this friend that I worked with, and he used to tell me this joke, and for him it was just a joke, but there are many men that are just like this. But he would say, "Yes, whenever my wife and I fight, I always get the last word in, and it's always yes, dear." So, you know what I mean? So this would be like a yes, dear man up in reverse too, I think sometimes.
Oh
Yeah.
God. I mean, you're taking it in a bad sense of the word. I mean, it really is like a tsunami. It's it's a flood. It's um, everything washed away. I mean, that's
Mhm.
taking it to the extreme in a bad way. On the other hand, it might just mean that things are not quite as good as they could be. You know that it has the potential to be really, really good, but it's just not quite there yet. It doesn't have to be the
Yeah.
extreme.
No, it can. I also look at reversed as it can either be weakened, the meaning's the opposite. It's gonna have a negative influence on the overall spread, or it's just that the energy of that card is delayed in it coming in. So
Yeah,
if it
Yeah.
was in an outcome position, it's gonna happen for you, but it's not gonna happen straight away. There is gonna be a delay.
yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Because intuition trumps all when you're doing that reading.
It could also mean a sort of a drought
Yeah.
or emotionally kind of not feeling any emotions, numb, you know. Or it could just mean slightly high, like a little bit too emotional, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit too well. Just
yeah,
uncontrolled outside the normal
yeah,
bounds of
yeah,
what you'd expect. Yeah.
And that's probably a little confusing for newer readers. It's like there a lot of times the way that we learn is we want to be told what something means, how to
yeah,
interpret something. But with the tarot, you can look in one book and see vastly different meanings for this. It's how you look at the card, your interpretation of that image, and then sometimes your intuition comes out of the blue, bam, with something you would have never thought of. Like when Matt was talking earlier, he looked at the card today and he saw something in it that
yeah,
he'd never
yeah,
seen before. That happens. And when you play with the cards and you do these exercises, when that happens to you when you're reading for a client, you're ready for it and you trust it and you're not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
mm. I've got to say that my sort of general little rule that works for me is when I see a card in reverse, number one, it's been sent to me in reverse for a reason.
Yes.
Number two, I think to myself, what would I have said if this card, exactly this card, had come up upright? What would I have said? And then I kind of like think now, if that's what I would have said, what's different about it that it needs to be in reverse? So what would I say that is different because it is reversed. But I kind of consider what it would have been upright first. But quite often when reverse cards come up.
And there's nothing to keep anyone from turning the card upright to see,
Yeah,
because sometimes when we see a reversal, especially beginner tarot readers, they're like, oh, oh, I got nothing. But if you turn it upright,
yeah,
then it starts flowing and and then you turn it back over and go
yeah,
from there.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good tip.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's if it had it been upright, I would have maybe gone for the all singing, all dancing version of this card upright. So, but something about it stops it from being allowed to be the upright version. What is that thing that is, the God? Why the gods sent it to me reversed? You always get it. You always do get it.
Yeah. Sometimes it might take a little bit of thinking time, a quiet
Yeah.
time, but it will come.
Mm, yeah. And it might only be one little thing about it that is stopping it from being allowed to be the upright version. It might just be that one little thing. It's a bit like, you know, he at the end of the day he is on that float thing. Do you know what I mean? So it might just be you just need a little bit of support, and then you can be really really happy in this situation. This situation promises very extreme happiness. Just accept the little bit of support that you're being offered. That might be the only reason why it's reversed. Some,
Nice.
something like that.
So, do y'all have anything to add about the King of Cups? Something that you didn't get to say? I know there's a lot more to him, but we could
Well,
have like hours and hours long podcasts if we said everything. But we're saying what we see now and how to do that, how to play this game.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the King as well as the Queen of Cups, just to kind of pull out some of the differences there. And in my mind, it's almost like the King of Cups, metaphorically, is the fisherman, the guy who goes out in the boat to catch the fish.
right, nice.
And the Queen of Cups is then the person that's going to receive the fish and process them, however they do that, cook them, wash them,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you
nice.
know, all that sort of stuff. Because she's sat on the beach, whereas he is out in the open water,
Yes.
amongst all the rough stuff, doing his job. There's something about his eyes as well when you look into his eyes in the card, where he's almost just like saying, "I can see into the depths of your soul.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can
very
see
nice.
deep down what's going on there."
And Sharon, would you see him more as a Cancer card?
I would, but I truly do identify him with my husband, but because that my husband is a Cancer, but because
Okay.
of that platform being so fixed and him being on that platform, it's
Oh,
staying still. It almost pulls me toward the
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a tough time with it sometimes, but when first glance when I look at it, I was like, "Oh, I love you. That's my husband."
Well, I am hoping that this time tomorrow night, or actually a little bit later, because we'll still be going tomorrow night, both Matt and I are going to both feel like we've had a King of Cups day,
Yeah.
and we're feeling very happy and yes, and kind of like rising high, on our day, riding
Totally.
riding the waves.
Oh, I have no doubt you guys are you're gonna be exhausted and emotionally fulfilled. So I hope you guys have a good time. Thank you for taking the time tonight to do this with us.
No
No
problem.
problem.
And Matt, I hope you can join us again sometime. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been great. Really, really good. Loved it.
And thank you again, both. And thank you, everybody listening. Be sure to leave us some comments. Tell us what you see in the card. And you want to hear about their Strawberry Fair Day, you let us know. And we'll pull them all together and do a podcast for you to tell you how it went. Right, y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, right, y'all.
Oh, Mandy got that accent down. All right. I'll see
Thanks,
you next
Sharon.
time. Bye bye.
Bye.